Hey space enthusiasts, welcome back to the channel. Today we're exploring something incredible that's hiding in plain sight. What if I told you that SpaceX already has a rocket that could get humans back to the moon? And no, it's not Starship. I'm talking about the Falcon Heavy, the same rocket that launched Elon's Tesla into space back in 2018. While everyone's watching Starship blow up during tests, there's this proven rocket sitting there with a perfect flight record. The crazy part, it was designed from day one to carry humans beyond Earth orbit. Let's dive into whether this underdog could rescue NASA's Artemis program while Starship is still learning how not to explode. Back in 2021, SpaceX won NASA's $2.9 billion contract for the Artemis lunar lander. That's billion with a capital B. Folks, since then, they've been working hard to integrate their lunar lander with Starship. They've completed over 30 major milestones, including life support tests and orbital fuel transfer systems. But here's the catch. For Starship to work, it needs refueling in orbit by specialized tanker ships. That's a lot of moving parts that all have to work perfectly. SpaceX has been testing this during their Starship flights. Flight 3 showed internal fuel transfer, and Flight 6 proved they can restart engines in space. That's crucial for getting back to Earth safely. The newer Block 2 and Block 3 versions are supposed to be much more powerful. We're talking massive improvements in payload capacity, better crew areas, and advanced Raptor engines. Block 3 will have a cutting-edge orbital refueling system with a brand new docking mechanism. It sounds amazing on paper. Here's where things get concerning. NASA and SpaceX originally planned an uncrewed test for 2025. Followed by Artemis 3 in mid-2027. But a Government Accountability Office report from November 2023 raised red flags. The main concern, Raptor engine development delays. NASA pushed Artemis 3 back to mid-2027. Then 2025 happened, and things got worse. SpaceX had 3 consecutive failures with Block 2 hardware. Ship 36 literally exploded during a static fire test. We're talking about basic flight performance here. If your rocket keeps exploding, you're not ready to put humans on it. This brings us to the big question. What if SpaceX went back to what actually works? Let me tell you about Falcon Heavy. This thing is a monster. It's basically 3 Falcon 9 rockets strapped together, powered by 27 Merlin engines producing over 5 million pounds of thrust. Here are the mind-blowing numbers. Falcon Heavy can carry 63.8 metric tons to low Earth orbit and about 16.8 tons to the moon. For comparison, the Apollo lunar module and command module together weighed around 15 tons. So yeah, Falcon Heavy has the muscle. Here's what most people don't know. Falcon Heavy was designed from the beginning to carry humans beyond Earth orbit. This wasn't an afterthought. This was part of the original design. The structural safety margins are 40% above flight loads. That's higher than most rockets. It has engine redundancy, throttle capability, and restart capability specifically for crew safety. NASA is already using Falcon Heavy for lunar missions. It's launching parts of the Lunar Gateway and handling Dragon XL resupply missions. Here's where it gets interesting. In some ways, Falcon Heavy is better than NASA's own SLS rocket. In October 2024, NASA chose Falcon Heavy to launch their $5 billion Europa Clipper mission. Originally, they wanted SLS, but Falcon Heavy won because it costs way less and has a perfect flight record. Let me repeat that. Falcon Heavy has a perfect flight success rate across 11 missions, most carrying expensive government payloads. The answer is complicated. Falcon Heavy could absolutely launch a modified Crew Dragon to lunar orbit. The payload capacity is there, but here's the problem. Getting to the moon's surface. Starship is designed to land directly on the moon. Falcon Heavy isn't a lander, it's a launcher. You'd need a completely separate lunar lander, probably launched on a second Falcon Heavy. Think Apollo-style operations. One launch for the crew, another for the lander. Then they meet up in lunar orbit. SpaceX has tons of experience with docking from Dragon missions to the ISS, so that part is doable. but you'd still need to design and build a custom lunar lander from scratch. That's a massive undertaking. Let's pump the brakes here. While Falcon Heavy was designed for crewed missions, SpaceX gave up on human rating it for lunar missions several years ago. They focused all their human rating efforts on Starship. Getting NASA approval for a human-rated Falcon Heavy lunar mission could take years, and designing a new lunar lander from scratch, we're talking billions of dollars and potentially more delays for Artemis. Plus, Starship's orbital refueling means it can haul massive payloads to the moon in a single mission. Falcon Heavy would need multiple launches to match that capability. Coordinating all those launches is a logistical nightmare. This creates an interesting split. Some see Falcon Heavy as the quick fix that could get Artemis back on track. Others argue it's a distraction from Starship's revolutionary potential. SpaceX is committed to Starship because it's designed to be fully reusable, land on the moon, and eventually get us to Mars. Falcon Heavy is really just a stepping stone. SpaceX plans to phase it out once Starship is operational. But with Starship Block 2 literally exploding during tests, NASA has to consider alternatives. Falcon Heavy could handle crew transport to lunar orbit or support gateway operations. But replacing Starship's landing capability is much harder. It's not just Falcon Heavy that would need work. Crew Dragon would need massive upgrades for lunar missions. Former NASA Administrator Jim Bridenstine once said, quote, "If you modified Dragon for lunar missions, it would look a lot like Orion," end quote. That's because Crew Dragon doesn't have the delta V needed to enter and exit lunar orbit on its own. You'd need to add an extra propulsion stage or another vehicle to handle the journey to and from the moon for multi-day lunar missions. Dragon would need completely upgraded life support systems and much stronger radiation shielding. Current systems are designed for short trips to the International Space Station, not extended deep space missions. Then there's the re-entry problem. Coming back from the moon means hitting Earth's atmosphere at about 11 kilometers per second. That's Mach 36. Dragon's current heat shield is designed for speeds of about 7.8 kilometers per second from low Earth orbit. Those lunar return speeds would push the heat shield way beyond its design limits. SpaceX could theoretically modify Dragon for lunar missions, but it hasn't been tested or certified for those extreme conditions. Just for context, Dragon is actually a whole family of spacecraft. The original Dragon 1 flew 23 cargo missions to the ISS between 2010 and 2020. NASA funded its development with $396 million through the Commercial Orbital Transportation Services program. Dragon 2, introduced in 2019, has both crewed and cargo versions. The first uncrewed test flight happened in March 2019, followed by the first crewed test in May 2020. Since then, Crew Dragon has become one of the primary ways to get astronauts to and from the ISS. SpaceX has even proposed specialized versions like Red Dragon for Mars exploration and Dragon XL for lunar gateway logistics. Here's the bottom line. Space fans, Falcon Heavy could absolutely step up for lunar orbit missions if Starship continues having problems. But it's not a simple plug and play replacement for landing astronauts on the moon. It's like using a sports car to tow a trailer. It can handle part of the job, but it's not built for the whole operation. NASA and SpaceX are still completely committed to Starship for Artemis 3. Despite all the explosions and delays, they're confident the human landing system will be ready when needed. But if delays keep piling up, don't be surprised if Falcon Heavy gets called in for a supporting role. So, what do you think? Should SpaceX dust off Falcon Heavy as a backup plan for getting humans to the moon? Or should they keep pushing through Starship's growing pains and stick with the original plan? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one and love hearing your perspectives on this stuff. If you enjoyed this deep dive into SpaceX's potential backup plans, smash that like button and hit subscribe. We're pushing hard toward 1,000 subscribers, and your support means everything. Ring that notification bell so you never miss our latest space content. The future of lunar exploration might not look exactly like we expected, but here's what I know for sure. We're living through the most exciting time in space exploration history. Whether it's Starship blazing the trail or Falcon Heavy stepping up as backup, humans are going back to the moon, and it's going to be absolutely incredible to witness. Thanks for watching, space fans. Space. Keep looking up, and I'll see you in the next video.